I'm America's Digital Pro, Kim Commando, and welcome to Tech News This Week. It's our podcast that gives you the top stories, the scams, the security alerts, and the crazy happenings in the tech world. We'll get started in just a moment, but first, we'd like to thank our partners who help make these podcasts possible.
Hey guys, Mike James in for Kim Commando again this week. Kim is working on our international debut on Bloomberg TV on January 5th, and she's going to join us for a few stories in just a few minutes. Also coming up, you won't believe what hackers are targeting now. It sounds too crazy to be true, really. Also, a very interesting, groundbreaking new way to study cancer. Plus, a popular security camera has some serious vulnerabilities and could give hackers access to your data. And if you use Alexa, there's a fake app that you definitely need to know about. Kim's going to talk about what you're going to love about 5G technology, also some downsides to 5G technology. Plus, we have a special guest that will help you be prepared for things like floods, fires, and tornadoes. All that and much more coming up on Tech News This Week from Commando.com. We start with an attack by hackers on hot tubs, believe it or not. Security researchers found a flaw in smart hot tubs made by Balboa Water Company. Now, the problem is the tubs can be controlled by an app that has little to no security. The app doesn't even require a password, which means if someone wanted to mess with you, they could, and you in your hot tub. A hacker is able to adjust the water temperature in the hot tub along with the jets and lights. Now, obviously, this isn't a typical hack that puts you at risk of identity theft or financial ruin, but still, it does show that not all companies that make smart products take security seriously. Many smart gadgets come with a default password that hackers can easily crack, which is why it's important to always change those default passwords and make them your own. This is exciting. Scientists at Cambridge have come up with a really clever way to study cancer. What they did is build a virtual reality 3D model of the disease. It's based on a tumor sample that was taken from a patient. The genius idea makes it possible to study the disease in detail from all angles, with each individual cell mapped. The VR system lets multiple people from around the world examine the tumor. One professor told the BBC, "No one has examined the geography of a tumor in this level of detail before. It's a new way of looking at cancer," unquote. Now, during a VR exam of the tumor, the professor said that they were able to witness a group of cells that detached from the main group, and this might be the point at which cancer spreads to surrounding tissues. Studying the tumor in 3D also allowed them to capture that exact moment. This is a huge breakthrough and should help increase the understanding of cancer and find new treatments. It is incredible how technology is and can be used in these kind of amazing ways.
Today, a question for all parents. Should kids be taught to say please and thank you when dealing with Amazon's Alexa? Amazon says its Alexa-powered Echo Home Assistant was among the company's best sellers this past Christmas. I've heard from parents asking me if their kids should be polite when asking questions and interacting with the internet-connected gadget. Now, both Amazon's Alexa and Google Assistant will be polite. If you're nice to it, you get nice back. Use the word please, and they'll thank you. Say thank you, and you'll hear, "You're welcome." And I'm all for polite children. If this helps teach the kids manners, go ahead. Thank your smart speaker. But consider this. Many parents with a smart speaker are upset that their kids' first words aren't mama or dada. It's now Alexa.
Well, if you got an Alexa for Christmas, congratulations, you're now part of the virtual assistant revolution that's sweeping the nation. The first thing that you've probably noticed is that you need to set up the device with a free app on your phone or tablet. The official app is available on Apple's App Store, the Google Play Store, or directly from Amazon. The key word here is official. That's important because there's a fake Amazon Alexa app that you should avoid at all costs. Somehow, the app made its way onto Apple's App Store, and it's already been downloaded by thousands of people. It's called Setup for Amazon Alexa, and it's developed by One World Software. If you did download this fake app, it asks you to supply your IP address along with the device's serial number. You don't want this information getting into the wrong hands, so don't do it. Make sure that you're downloading the official Amazon Alexa app. And to see what the official app looks like, along with the fake one, go to Komando.com and read our article titled, "Don't Fall for It, Watch Out for Fake Amazon Alexa Setup App." Coming up next, a Christmas panic set in for some Amazon fans, but right now we want to tell you about our partners at SimpliSafe Home Security. SimpliSafe is a fantastic security system. With SimpliSafe, there's never any hidden fees or long-term contracts, and because they want everybody to feel safe in their homes, SimpliSafe prices are always honest and fair. Round-the-clock professional monitoring will bring the police anytime there's even the slightest hint of a problem. And there are 6 monitoring centers across the country, which means nothing, not even earthquakes, floods, or tornadoes, will interrupt your protection. SimpliSafe is built for the unexpected, just loaded with safeguards. It keeps working even during local power and Wi-Fi outages. Even if a burglar smashes your keypad, the police will be on their way. Plus, the system is so easy to use. It's incredibly intuitive, and it takes only minutes to set up in your home. Just open the box, plug it in, no drilling, no wires. Order your SimpliSafe system right now at simplysafekim.com. That's simplysafekim.com. And we told you earlier this week on Tech News Today that Amazon had a record-breaking holiday season for sales. Leading the way were Amazon devices like the Echo and the Echo Dot, which means millions more people have access to Alexa and all the skills she brings. But that might not be such a great thing for some. Those of us who've been with Alexa since the beginning were really hit hard with an inconvenience on Christmas Day. What happened was that so many people were setting up their new devices at the same time that Alexa couldn't handle all of them, and the system crashed for a short time when thousands of people tried connecting to Amazon servers for the first time. And of course, many people don't have anything better to do than to be outraged that their Alexa doesn't work. Many people don't have anything better to do than to go to social media to complain about how their Alexa isn't working. My Alexa, oh please, oh help me. It's not playing music, and it's not controlling my smart lights. Anyway, luckily the system was only down for a brief period and was able to get back online and back to normal shortly. Crisis averted. Hey, if you have a security cam made by Guardzilla, unplug it immediately. And that's at least the advice from a team of security researchers that discovered several serious vulnerabilities in that camera. They said Guardzilla's top-selling indoor wireless security camera uses hard-coded keys that can easily be extracted. The gadget's root password is protected by an algorithm that is a decade old and no match for today's hackers. Anyone would be able to gain full access to the company's cloud storage along with customer data. Making matters worse is the fact that Guardzilla isn't responding. The security team told TechCrunch it's made multiple attempts to warn the company of the flaws, but hasn't done anything about them or even sent a reply. Now, to fix the situation, the company would need to change the keys and roll out a software patch for each and every device. Until those steps are taken, if you have that device, it might be a good idea to take the advice of the researchers and just unplug the camera completely. Just ahead, our special guest with how you can stay safe during a natural disaster. And right now, a quick thank you to our amazing partners who help make these podcasts possible.
For millions, the holidays are a mixed bag of emotions, including anxiety and depression. As it turns out, social media may be partly to blame. At the University of Pittsburgh, researchers found that people who use multiple social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all the others are increasing their risk of depression and anxiety. Just maintaining and reading all the posts that accumulate on multiple online profiles is yet another area of stress. Far too many people compare themselves to the exaggerated social media puff pieces that others post about themselves and then feel inadequate. All too often, these online profiles degenerate into a group of social media folks all trying to one-up each other. If you're feeling stressed or depressed, consider giving yourself a social media break. Let it all go. Enjoy yourself, your family, and your real friends.
As promised, we have a special contributor to Tech News this week from Komando.com. So this is Jack Spirko of the Survival Podcast. Jack, thank you for being here.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to reach out to your audience with some family preparedness tips. As you know, I've been teaching folks how to be prepared now for over 10 years on my show, and this week I wanted to start out with some of my thoughts on the most important piece of preparedness gear a person can have. A lot of people would think this is maybe stored food or a ham radio or a means of defense or some other gizmo or gadget. The reality is, this one costs you almost nothing, but you have to put it together yourself. It's a documentation package, or what I call a documentation kit. This is so that you can get in touch with the people you need to get in touch with, and this is so you can get to the places you need to get to, and more importantly, this is so other members of your family can do the same and be able to link up with you if you get separated. It's all going to start out on your computer, but we're going to take the results of this, we're going to print them out, we're going to punch some holes in them, and put them in 3-ring binders. How many 3-ring binders do you need? How many cars do you have plus your home? You should have one documentation package in your home and one in every vehicle, so if those kiddos get a little bit older, they get their own vehicle, they're driving off to school every day, etc., doing that part-time job, that documentation kit should be in their car. Every time you make an update, what are you going to do? Exactly what we did back when I was in the Army. The new pages get printed out, the old pages that have been replaced get pulled out, the new ones get put in, and that way everyone has the same thing. The reason for that's going to make a lot of sense in just a minute. So what goes in there? Well, of course, even though you have it all on your cell phone, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So we're going to put contact information for your family and friends and any other contacts that you may need to get in touch with in the middle of an emergency. We're going to put contact information for all of your financial institutions, how to get in touch with your bank, any other financial information that you need. As far as how to protect your account numbers and other information, I'll tell you how to get a full episode, and it includes ways to do that very low tech, very simple, very safe in that episode. You're going to want service providers. Here's something I hear from people when I talk about this. They say, what do you mean by a service provider? I'll say, well, what if a tree falls on your house? And the guy will say, well, I have a chainsaw. What if you're not home? What if the tree fell through your house and injured you and you're in the hospital and your wife needs to get that tree out of the driveway? Wouldn't it be a great benefit if you had somebody you could call that could do that for you? And if there was a widespread storm, don't you think everybody's in the middle of asking for help right now? What if you already had the service providers for your area ready to go, and as soon as that disaster struck, you're the first one in line? Keep that in mind, first in line. That's the difference between being prepared and not being prepared as we go on from here. So, with first in line, how about hotels? There are times when people need to leave. The number one thing that people needed to do to deal with 2 major hurricanes this year and the forest fires on the West Coast was what? Bug out or leave. Go somewhere else. Well, when that happens, what you hear people say is, well, you can never get a hotel because they're all booked up. Let me ask you a question, folks. How'd they all get booked up if no one can get a hotel? No, people that were at the front of the line got that hotel. So, you should have the hotels that you would want to stay in if you don't have some other place to go, or if that some other place to go becomes compromised, in your binder, ready to go. Call, make reservations immediately. Also have their websites, anything like that, so you can be, again, first in line. That's the difference between sleeping in your car in a parking lot in a Walmart or sleeping in a nice, comfortable hotel. Now, to do that, you're going to need evacuation routes. I have no doubt that you've probably heard about the rules of 3 in wilderness survival. We have the rules of 3 in regard to evacuations. They are 3 destinations, 3 routes each, 3 rally points. So how does this work? Well, maybe your Uncle Bob. Maybe you can go up and stay with him to the north and you don't have to worry about a hotel there. Great. So Uncle Bob is Route A. Then, well, maybe you can't go to the north because of the type or nature of the disaster. Maybe it's big enough that Uncle Bob's area is compromised as well. Maybe he's out of town. Maybe you just can't go this time, so we need a route maybe to the south. And then maybe we need a route to the east or the west. How do you plan these? Look at the most potential disasters for your area. Look at the resources you have, but choose at least 3 different destinations that you could have evacuation routes to. Now, during this, since a lot of other people may be evacuating at the same time, you should get on Google Maps and plan 3 different routes for each of those 3 destinations. That way, if one of them is compromised, you can move over to an alternate route. Additionally, since you could get separated from your family, you should pick 3 rally points on each route. That way, remember that teenage daughter we talked about? When you get an evacuation order, she's at school, and you got to go because the sheriff's deputy's on your door telling you right now you have to leave, and you pick up your phone and you call her. You can say, turn to page 14. Take route Route A. We will meet at Rally Point 1 there. That's where Mom and Dad are going to be. When you sound like you're in control, when you sound like you're calm, when you sound like you have a grasp on the situation, because you do, the family members that you're reaching out to, they will as well. They'll follow the plan, and you know you'll be able to get back together with them right there. You also need, in this documentation package, what we call a grab and get checklist. All the stuff that you want to make sure that you take with you when you leave. Those priceless family heirlooms that are priceless in your mind, but not according to the insurance company, and the other things that you would need. Medical needs as well need to go in there. Specifically for family members that may end up in a compromised position and for some reason you may not be there to assist them. Any type of medication they need to take, anything that needs to be told to a doctor, all of that stuff in your documentation pack. And then the last part of this, PFP, Plan for the Puppies. One of the number one reasons given for people who did not evacuate and ended up in harm's way, with rescuers having to go into harm's way to get them out, is I didn't know what to do with my animals. Plan for your dogs and cats, folks. Make sure you have what they need to go with them. They have their own little doggy bug-out bags or kitty bug-out bags. Make sure you've gotten them used to getting in and out of vehicles. If you're going to rely on hotels, go ahead now, while there's no emergency. In advance, call various hotels. Find out the ones that will be accommodating to you under normal circumstances, just so you know. But many places will actually be accommodating to pets during a disaster that aren't on a day-to-day basis. Find those locations and make sure they're in your documentation package. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is actually a really in-depth subject. There's a lot that goes into it. I have a full 1 hour plus episode on exactly how to do this, how to protect your personal information with simple encryption that you can crack, but the guy, maybe the NSA can do it, but the guy on the street, not going to be able to figure it out. All that good stuff. You can find it all by going to my website, thesurvivalpodcast.com, and just use our search function and search for documentation. On that note, we've been doing this now for over 10 years. We have over 2,300 episodes. And if you want to get to our site without typing a whole bunch of letters, you can just use our short code, tspc.co. Again, thank you for letting me reach out to your audience. I look forward to providing you with more tips in the future.
Thanks, Jack. We look forward to working with you in the future as well.
There's been a lot of talk about 5G, and compared to 4G LTE, 5G is 20 times faster. This means you can download a full HD movie in less than 10 seconds. Nice. Hi there, I'm Kim Commando reporting for USA Today, and you're going to love 5G. But there are a few things that you need to know. Starting with, you might need a new phone. That's right, you'll have to retire that brand new $1,000 iPhone. Early 5G smartphones will need to work on older networks due to what could be slow and spotty rollouts of 5G. The Moto Z3, that's exclusive to Verizon, is an excellent example of this. It's a 4G phone and it's already available. But next year, you'll be able to buy a 5G Moto mod to add onto the phone. So this way it'll work with Verizon's 5G network. Smartphones are just a small piece of the 5G revolution. The real future is connecting all the pieces of our world together. Self-driving cars could talk to each other, making them safer. Augmented reality glasses could give us a new way of looking at the world around us. We're getting so much closer to a more sci-fi style future. As 5G expands into reality in 2019 and ramps up in 2020. And in a decade, we'll all marvel at how it all began. I'm America's Digital Pro, Kim Commando, and now you're up to date. And I'm sure you want to learn more. So listen to my other podcasts or let them come to you in the free Commando.com app, which you can get at iTunes and Google Play. Just search for KOMANDO on your favorite podcast player. And join me this weekend for my national radio show. I answer your questions about everything digital, and I'm sure you have at least a few. For the station nearest you, head over to Commando.com/radio. That's KOMANDO.com/radio.